Good morning, guys. Welcome back to Bearded Lumber. Matthew and I appreciate you tuning in. As you can see, I'm standing in front of our motor planer. If you can see over my shoulder, we got some wood we're going to run this morning. What a wonderful thing. So, let's get through the intro before we go too far into this. Hang on, we'll be right back and talk about what we got going on today. Okay guys, welcome back. What we got is a small order. You know, we do a lot of those. Customer needed 14 Sweetgum boards, 3/4 inch S4S. We're gonna run those this morning. You know, we have got a lot to do with the motor planer, and I promise we'll take you along with it, but we're waiting on a couple things. One, I'm waiting on some wood to come out of the kiln. We got a bunch of poplar we need to S4S. And we're waiting on 2 sets of knives. One set should be here for us technically tomorrow, since I believe today is Veterans Day. By the way, thank you for all your service veterans. Couldn't do it without you. Much appreciated. You're at our thoughts and prayers. But we're waiting on 2 sets. One should be here for us tomorrow, and the other one should ship end of the week, first next week. So we're just kind of in limbo waiting on that. But I want to talk about a couple tools you're going to need to do this job. You know, we're saw builders. We're used to a tape measure, you know. Well, a tape measure is real good, but when you're doing this kind of work, you got to get a lot closer than a tape measure is going to get you. I've had a dial caliper, got several of them. This is a little electronic one, measures 6 inches. Well, like anything else, that's good till you get beyond 6 inches. We're running up to 8.5 inch wide stuff, so had to go order another one. This one will measure up to 12 inches. And let me tell you, when you put your tape measure on an 8-inch board and you say, yeah, it's 8 inches, and you take this dial caliper and you put it on there, it'll tell you the true difference, because we're measuring in thousandths, you know, a lot closer than you're going to get with a tape measure. Our goal is almost perfection in the width and thickness, you know, within a thousandths, plus or minus. We can deal with that. But still, a lot closer than you're ever going to see with a tape measure. Still handy. You still need one, carry one around with you. But when it comes to doing your final thickness and your final width, you're going to have to upgrade to something a little nicer. So we have yet to run any of this Sweetgum on the motor planer. We did run some oak the other day. And we found out that what we had cut at 1 1/4 inches was too thick for one pass. It needed to run twice. This is cut just a little thinner than oak. It was a solid 1 1/8 inches, but it's still a hardwood, and we're still learning. So we're gonna back our machine off to, instead of a 3/4 inch cut, we backed it off to a 1 inch cut. And we're just gonna run it and see how the finish is and see what it sounds like. I know it'll be all right. We're basically cutting the amount that we're taking off in half, close to half. We're going to take a full, and we've seen 1 or 2 that the saw man didn't do a great job cutting, and they ended up just a little thick. So we'll eliminate those, as well as we'll get everything down to a common 1 inch thickness. And when we run it again, it should come out excellent. So if you see us running it twice, that's what we're doing. We're learning. We're experimenting, and we're trying to make the best quality we can. So let's get everything fired up, and we'll try to run through here on this first pass. We're not too much worried about the width. We're just trying to move it down a little bit. Our main concern is the thickness, so that when we take that second cut, we get both sides good and clear, and we get a good slick finish. So enough talking. Let's make some noise and see what it looks like. Tighten up. Okay. That's good. Let's get everything fired up. Go turn the other fan on. We gotta open the valve there. Yep. Get no hurry. All gotta get done in order here. What? Is the compressor running?
I just turned it on.
Is it running?
Didn't hear it start.
Good. That means we got plenty of. Means we got plenty of air. If it was running, I'd wait and let it catch up.
Hello, sir. Did you not get enough attention yet this morning?
Okay guys, let's talk about what we learned. We run this at just slightly under an inch. Matthew measured it 0.973. We really didn't care about that part. We was just shooting for around an inch. Reason being, we had some thicks and thins, and if you've watched any of our Sweetgum videos, you know this is a very bad wood for us having bad habits, and it had a lot of crown, had a lot of heart. I could feel the heart really standing up on a lot of it. And it's a semi-hardwood. So we wanted to, out of an abundance of caution, and we're learning, and we're taking you along for the journey, we run it through at an inch, and we're trying to get to a 7.5 inch width finish, and they ranged anywhere from an 8 inch to maybe 7 5/8 on the narrowest one. So we backed the side cutter off to where it was basically just kissing one side. So now we have them all at a a standard thickness, 0.97, 997, whatever. So we're going to take another just shy of 250 thousandths off because we're shooting for 0.750. Matthew, go ahead and make that adjustment now while he's here. He's going to have to undo the lock. Get you down here where you can see. And we got our dial indicator set where when you say an inch there, it means an inch. He's going to roll it back to 0.750 and lock it back down. That's going to fix our thickness. Now let's go here. We're going to readjust our width. If you look at it right here, it's 0.775 is 7 3/4 inches. So we're going to back it up to 750. You want to go past it and come back up. There you go. Lock it down. That, get set back up here. That resets the machine to the 3/4 inch thick, plus or minus a thousandth. We run the first one, we'll check it. If we need to make a slight adjustment, thicker or thinner, we'll make it right then. Same thing on our width. We got it set. It should be plus or minus a thousandth, 2 at the most, and we'll check that when we run the first one and make an adjustment plus or minus as needed. So, could we have run this in one pass? Maybe. Why do I want to run a hardwood and tear up my knives, overwork the machine? It sounded very good running this, and you could hear it occasionally when it caught one of them boards the sawmill man didn't do a good job on. It really hunkered down. I mean, it filled the pipes full of sawdust. So if this was pine, I'd run it in one pass. If this was poplar, I'd run it in one pass. Maple, sweet gum, hickory especially, white oak, red oak. If what I was running looked like this, it had some crown to it, it had some bow, yes, I'd run it twice. We have a bunch of white oak over here you'll see us run shortly, and it's all gonna have to run twice for similar reasons. Some of it's cupped, all of it was cut at 5/4, and we cut it at 5/4 so we could get a good 3/4 inch board out of it. And there again, sawmen, sometimes, you know, if they're all 5/4, you're pretty good, but every now and then you get that one that's extra 1/8 inch thick, and that can really put some wear and tear on your machine, your knives, your belts. So we're learning. We're you know, we've not owned one of these machines long. Technically less than a year, as far as running, less than a few weeks. So as I'm learning, I hope you're learning. As far as setup, what we're running, S4S, does it not get any easier. It's as simple as can be. Now when we switch over to tongue and groove, you'll see us do a lot more checking, a lot more sample passes, because not only are you worried about the thickness and the width, you're worried about your tongue and your groove being in, you know, the same plane with one another. So we'll take a board and run it and basically go chop it in half, turn it around backwards, and measure them against one another and see where we're at. Because we can make an adjustment up with one side or down with another, try to balance it out. We should be close, but you still got to make that final fine-tune adjustment to make your product as good as possible. Okay, give us a minute. We're going to probably take the tractor because I don't feel like handling them. Move these boards back over there, and we got the machine set up. We'll run them again. So we'll bring you back. We got everything tuned up, ready to stick them through again. Maybe we'll try to get you a little closer this time. You can see the pretty grains that's coming out. We hadn't tried to ride along on this. We'll experiment with it. I want to get you closer, but then again, I got to have room to work. Matthew's got to have room to work. So we're still learning. We're trying. So just give us some time. Give me a minute. We'll be right back. Okay guys, you just watched us run all this Sweetgum through here. What did we learn? Definitely don't want to take all that off in one time. It causes a lot of chip out, tear out. And the whole time we were running that, we were adjusting how much we were taking off the first cutter, the first bottom cutter. Ended up, we went back and took off a lot more than we kind of had board. We took too much off of, so kind of backed it up. Found a happy medium. We was taking about 30 thousandths off the first cutter. It goes through the machine. The back cutter is preset to take 50 or 20. So we had a total of 50 thousandths coming off what would be the face cut, and then the balance was coming off the back. Sometimes that worked out great, and on some boards it didn't. We had a couple where we took too much off the back and it caused chip out, tear out. So that's why we were playing with the adjustment. And we learned a little bit on running it through twice, trying to square an edge. We got the outside edge getting parallel. Should have took more off of the inside face, because when you put the board in, it's going that way. You want the bow out. So that first cutter head cuts this end of the board and that end of the board and tries to move it towards the fence, and then the outside cutter cuts whatever's left. And we kind of did that backwards. So living and learning. When we took the boards over there, if we'd have spun them all around backwards and run the plumb side up against the fence, probably would have turned out a little bit better. But like I say, we're learning. We're taking it along. It's real world. It's how things go. The finish is acceptable. I wouldn't say it's perfect. And I think a lot of that's because of the wood being Sweetgum. It has tendency to want to tear out if you're pulling too much out of it. But it does have some pretty grain in it. Let's see if I can get you down here close enough. It's hard to see that far away. So you can see a little bit of lacy grain in it here. See a little tear out. Same thing here, just a little tear out around this knot. You know, I don't know what you can do about that. We got the feed going about as slow as we want to go. A little tear out there. I would like to see it just a little bit better. This reminds me of sycamore. This lacy grain in here. It's very pretty.
Basically the same kind of tree.
Yeah. Let's pick them up, Matthew. Oh, there's a pretty one. It's got the purple or light baby blue colors in it with that rose. This is why I like it. It's a very pretty wood. Here's some of the grain popping out in it. Let's look at another one. Now here's one that didn't have, it's got the heart grain. These two streaks here, it's kind of your heart grain running through there. But that's a beautiful board. Turned out good. There's just a little tear out right there. A little around that knot. And the rest of that is just gorgeous. You gonna say hello, Leroy? There's another one, looks just like it. Okay, here's one of the first ones we did. We didn't quite have our adjustment right on that side, but this side cleared good. And this is what you get when you try and take too much off the top. You get an excessive amount of tear out. That can be fixed in the finishing process. And there's the last one. And you can get boards like this that really have little to no grain in them. Got some heart red running through it. That's a pretty board. So, there we go. One little small job knocked out this morning. Customer actually going to build a bed out of this. Some of this tear out is easily fixed. I've done a lot of it over the years, woodworking. When you're sanding this wood, keep your sanding dust. Mix that with a little bit of woodworking glue, smear it right in there, it goes away. Same thing you do when you do your glue joints. If you got a little gap there, mix up a little pile of your sawdust and some glue. Makes perfect wood putty because it comes from the wood. All you've added is glue. If you're using a neutral color glue, all you see is the wood grain when you sand it. It disappears, right, Matthew? Mm-hmm. So all that, I think I would have liked to see it a little better, don't get me wrong, but it's acceptable for what we're doing and what we're charging. So we're learning. We're no experts by far, okay? We're we're working our way through it. And this is a difficult wood. This sweet gum is hard. It's as hard as a maple, even though it's sweet gum. And you got to treat it like a hardwood. You dry it like a hardwood. So we're gonna mill it like a hardwood. So it answered my question whether we needed to run it twice, and we definitely did. Would we run it take any more or take any less off first cut? I mean, it's kind of hit or miss there, because we could have backed off the first cut and left a little bit, but the machine's got plenty of adjustment to where when that wood goes in, you can decide how much this bottom cutter takes. You know how much the outfeed cutter's taking, and then the balance is gonna come off the top cutter. So if you got your math in there and you know you're getting 20 or 30 off the first, 20 guaranteed off the back, that leaves the balance should be coming off the top of the board. So hope that helps, guys. Like I say, this is real world. This is what Matthew and I do. We're learning. If I can be any help to you, or if you got any tips for me, you guys out there running one of these machines, let me know. Drop a comment in the comment section below. I read every one of them and try my best to answer every comment. As always, we appreciate you watching, guys. We couldn't do it without you. It's such a pleasure. Big shout out to Matthew and Solomon doing our videos. Don't forget to check out Third Beard Fishing. That's going to do it for today. And guys, we'll see you back at the mill.
Thank you for watching. Here's a video selection and a playlist suggestion. Click here to subscribe for more great content. We'll see you at the mill.